Premier League betting edge.
This is simply stunning. Oh, it's another classic. Oh, yes. Top quality. Man of the moment. On the biggest stage, he is the master performer. Oh, indeed.
All right, Premier League betting edge. We are back for match week 9, and Riley is back with us. Thank God, Riley. What happened over the weekend to you?
Yeah, I mean, the international break really hits you hard, I guess, because this past Saturday I got into a little bit of a bike crash. So that's that Band-Aid you might be seeing. You guys will probably have seen it on the newsletter. I just kind of refrained it to mention it because I did kind of want to save it because you never know. I feel like Mark's got some jokes cooking for us today, so we'll have to see.
No, I was going to say, Riley, I thought we had a winning week between the Champions League and the Premier League. I thought we won. So
yeah.
It came as a surprise to me.
Yeah. No, we actually we did pretty well in that last little week span. Unfortunately, the last match week 8, only a marginal win for us there, but Champions League was very solid. So hopefully we can keep doing well off that positive note. And EPL model's looking good. I've gone over all the changes that I've made, and I think it's like I said, I'm still happy with where it's at. So let's keep kicking on here and get a nice little winning week.
It seems like you got things kicking and you got a pretty good grasp on things. Does it seem like it's been a long time? I really missed the whole podcast, and an international break it seems like it went on not just for a week, but like a month.
Yeah, I know. Well, for me, like whenever the international break comes on, I'm not really a fan of international soccer all that much. So I kind of revert back to watching football actually. So I watched a bunch of college football, watched a decent amount of NFL as well. So still cheering on the Badgers are still undefeated. So Wisconsin Badgers, that's my team. So hopefully they get a big week or a big win against Ohio State coming up in a few weeks here, because that'll be they always seem to be an Ohio State win away from the playoffs. So we'll have to see.
Well, I'm gonna pull for them this weekend too. Lisa, my wife, is a Michigan alum, so anytime I can root against Ohio State, I root against them every time. But now this will even be better because
exactly.
I got you on the same page. Well, so we're going to have a pretty good run, it looks like, without the international break. Before the show, I'd ask you, it looks like we're going to have no international break till the 16th of November.
Yep. So we get a solid month's worth of games now in a row here. And with the formatting, they've kind of changed the formatting of that too. It used to be fewer breaks too, and now they've upped that for the UEFA Nations League or whatever all that junk is. But honestly, I really just don't pay attention to it all that much until we get to like the Euros and the World Cup. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it. I know people are in kind of different minds about it. Some people really like it. Some people don't.
It kind of ruins the whole flow of things. But we're back into it. We're going to talk about there's two things before we get into the main games today that I did want to touch upon, and that's the first. You did a great job on highlighting all of the plays. I think it was close to 15 to 20 minutes on where we sit from our future standpoint. But in case you missed that, what is our best future as far as it looks right now? And then what is our worst future as far as the way it looks right now?
Yeah. So talking about that Tottenham under, that's my favorite at the moment. We have about 20 points in hand in that future, and we got the under 72.5, and right now they're projected to finish on around 53 points. So lots of value on that play right now. Obviously, Pochettino, their manager, is looking like he is on the very hottest of seats possible right now. So we'll have to see if he ends up pulling it together over the next few weeks or not. But that play I really like because there's turmoil between the manager and the players, and obviously you don't like to see that naturally. But if we have the under on them, then that's a little different. But
I guess looking at their upcoming game versus Watford, if you had to have a must win, maybe that's a team to do it against.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, normally to see Tottenham 69% at home versus a relegation threatened Watford is, it's almost worrying because a team like City would be up in the 90s there. So it's pretty telling of where they're at right now and how the markets regard their situation as well. But yeah, so Tottenham, the under right now is looking very solid. So that's probably my favorite out of the bunch, and that's a 3-star as well. Least favorite is a 2-star play, and that was on the Everton, or actually no, this was a 1-star, I believe it was. Sorry, 1-star. But Everton to finish top 6, and Everton and Leicester were 2 teams this season that I was kind of eyeing to push out one of the top 6. In my opinion, it was going to be most likely Chelsea or Manchester United. And I was kind of, like I said, I was eyeing those 2 teams, and Everton just really hasn't panned out the season at all. They still have one of the stronger squads in terms of player strength, which I actually go over a little bit in a newsletter that coming out on Thursday morning. But so you guys will see that one. But anyway, so yeah, Everton's one of the strongest sides actually overall, and they're pretty balanced too. But just manager wise, he couldn't pull it together. Tactical system has been dodgy at best at times. So I think Marco Silva is also one of those on his way out. So unfortunately, this one does not benefit us, unlike how the Pochettino scenario sort of does in this situation.
Well, I think the good news is, and they told me this at handicapping school, is you win the ones that are the bigger place and you lose the ones that are the smaller place. And I try to do that. So that's the goal at least. So
yeah. So I mean, having our 3 stars, and all 3 of our 3 stars are looking really solid right now. So I'm pretty happy with where those are at. So yeah, it's nice to have the biggest weighted plays, all looking pretty solid.
Well, that's good to hear about the Tottenham game and Everton. Well, you can't win them all, and that's what makes handicapping so fun. But speaking of Everton, let's talk about this Everton West Ham game. And Everton, this is the early morning game on, and I'm going to be up watching this game because we have a play on it. We're going to have a 3-headed parlay on it. 4:30 Pacific time. And Everton is -104 favorites. West Ham, you can get a +290. The draw is +288. Riley, how are we going to handle this one?
Yeah, so we're looking at West Ham here, and we actually have 7% edge on the money line, but we're going to avoid that because money lines have not been our forte this season. So we're going to stay clear of that route. But we're going to go back on the Asian handicap here. We've actually been pretty successful with that so far this season. So looking at actually West Ham, I want to do some sorts here in the projections. Looking at West Ham away, so far they played, an average opponent has been great, 83 overall, so about what their level is. But they've actually averaging 1.5 goals for and only 1 against, where compared to their home games so far this season. They are actually averaging 1.25 for and then 1.75 against. So pretty strong away record, despite the fact that they are definitely playing. They have played stronger or tougher teams at home than away. So definitely take that into account. Not gonna be biased based on home and away without taking into account the overall. But still, I think West Ham have been a pretty solid away team this season so far, and as of late too, some of their best players. Taking a look at Andrei Yarmolenko, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Could you switch that back to the away? Because I just wanted to point something out too.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that's nice is that you have shown that the true odds based on the results breakdown. And I know it's a small sample size, but I really like that chart. And what it's showing is that based on West Ham's away results, that the game should be priced at West Ham at +210, and they're priced a lot. I mean, you'll get a lot better buck on the 3-way than that. And if you take a look at 56%, if you add the draw and the team, which is what we're going to be doing, so that's a 56.8%. That's going to price it right about -130, and we're getting about even money on it. So just based on, and I know it's a small sample size, but as the body of work gets greater, I think it's going to be a good tool to be able to price teams based on the results that they have year to date. And I thought that was really clever how you did that, and I just wanted to point that out to everybody.
Yeah, mm-hmm. So definitely the tool that has many different uses for sure that we'll obviously be using many times throughout the season. But back to the players, I did want to show you this quickly here before we get into the the three-headed parlay. But anyway, some of the West Ham's attackers have been heating up lately, and one of them was Andrei Yarmolenko. Now, before last match against Crystal Palace, which he had 0 shots, but we actually had an over on and ended up barely cashing in the end. But he had 0 shots in that match. But before that, he had been averaging 2.67 shots, I believe it was, in the past 4 games leading up to that one. So he's really been getting a ton of volume lately, and he's kind of become their main attacker, even eclipsing Felipe Anderson, who had been their main. He'd been kind of carrying their main attacking workload all of last season. So he's become a very prominent piece in their attack. So we are going to target him in a second here on the three-headed parlay. But just bringing it up that, their attackers have kind of been heating up lately, and it's sort of been the opposite for Everton, who, besides Alex Iwobi, his introduction to the side was, I feel like, in my personal opinion, inevitably going to be a successful one because he's a very balanced player, and I think he's creative as well. But he kind of ties the side. He's capable of tying a side together who are generally unbalanced, tying attack or defense and attack together, and he has done that so far for them. But other than that, been pretty disappointing. And I did mention prior to the season starting too, Dominic Calvert-Lewin being their best striker going into the season was very worrying for them, and that was like my one sort of red flag of theirs going into the season, and it's kind of been amplified because Moise Kean, who they signed, as well, another young striker from Juventus, actually, he's come in and hasn't done much at all, and Calvert-Lewin is still starting, hasn't really had much output either. So worrying there from the striker output, where compared to West Ham, who has Sebastian Haller, who has also started scoring as of late too. I think the contrast of where these two teams are going are pretty apparent, where West Ham is apparently on the upward slope at this point, and Everton on the downward slope. So hopefully that ends up kind of being the trend in this match, as well as West Ham comes up on top. But the actual play is going to be a West Ham plus 0.5 at -103. We're going to be risking 0.52 units to win a half unit, and at 6.4% edge. That's a pretty solid edge there for a play like this, and I actually really like how we got the plus 0.5, having 7% edge on the money line themselves. We still get the 6.4% edge on the plus 0.5 here. So I think good play overall, and looking forward to the early morning start.
Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting how the CDSA percentage, if you add West Ham and the draw, is 57%. So very similar to their actual body of work to date. So I think that's a pretty good thing that those two things correlate. I also think it was pretty interesting what you said about Iwobi being creative, because I think his creativity also shows in his hairstyle.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, he's got a pretty unique hairstyle.
I tried to deadpan it. Sorry.
I do like it though. I do like it. I really liked him actually last season for Arsenal, and I was kind of pinpointing him as one of those players that would have a decent season this year. And he unfortunately Arsenal they sold him, so they didn't get to take advantage of that. But Everton gets a good player here who's pretty, in my opinion, been their best player over the past few matches anyway. So Bar likes him a lot too, so that's always a positive.
So so we'll talk about the three-headed parlay here, and it's going to be Yarmolenko to score, both teams to score. I don't think we've done this before, BTTS in the three-headed parlay. So this is a first for Premier League betting edge, and West Ham to win the game. I think that this one is going to pay 14-1. Riley has it priced at 8.4%. So we're getting, I guess probably about close to a 2% edge on this parlay. And remember, that doesn't take into effect the correlation part of the three-headed parlay. Riley, you have anything to add to that analysis?
Just looking at shot ratings here, we'll sort by just West Ham to see their players alone here. He is by far the best, the most value added per match right now in terms of bar shot rating, and Sebastian Haller has been scoring as well. But Yarmolenko is he's the hot hand at this point. So we'll have to see if he can kind of bounce back after a quiet match versus Crystal Palace and score another one here. Looking for that for sure. And looking at their defensive rating, Everton actually is 3% less than or better than average for defense. So, still a pretty solid defense, but as of late, they have not been all that great. So we're going to be taking the hot hand here. That's kind of my take on this one.
Yeah, that's great. What a good price. And just so you guys know, he is priced at plus 240 to score on his own. And Riley just brought the chart up. He's got a 43.3% chance to score, which would mean the price would be a fair price based on our projections would be about plus 130. So good value. And I always recommend if you're going to play the three-headed parlay, you might as well play the player to score, because there always is an advantage there as well. All right, Riley, nicely done. Let's take a look at the late game on Saturday. Crystal Palace is hosting Manchester City, and Palace is a big dog at home, 11 plus 1137. City is minus 400. The draw is 562. But you're going to take a little bit different look at this, and you're going to play a total in this game.
Yeah, we actually are. So, looking at the under 3.5 here at minus 125, that's going to be the play. And looking at so we're going to go back to the projection sheet here and do some fancy little sorts here. But looking at Crystal Palace this season at home, that's going to be the key here. If you look at their average goals for the opponent against them, okay, overall 89, so it's 11% worse than average opponent, but still only allowing 0.25 goals per game. That's a total of 1 goal so far in the 4 matches they played at home against, albeit they haven't played the greatest of attacks yet. So we'll have to see. That, I mean, obviously City will be a big test, but at the same time, too, City will have a lot of players coming off international matches too, so they'll likely be a little bit tired, and I think that'll play into our advantage here. But anyways, like I said, yeah, only 1 goal allowed against at home so far this season. And even looking at adjusted goals too, that's adjusting for that disparity in overall. If they were played against 100 average teams the whole time, it's only a 0.3. It only goes up 0.05 goals. So very impressive defense at home for Crystal Palace this season, which is a stark contrast from last season, in which they were very, I guess, hit or miss at home. I'd say overall, where away they were stronger when compared to average. But just to be fair, we will take a look at City away here, and their numbers are still going to be pretty high attacking wise, but they are City, so you have to kind of give that to them. So playing against 95% or 95 overall teams, so 5% worse than average, they have averaged 3.25 goals away. So I mean, they're going to be expected to be put up a lot. But my take on this one is, if it is a strong City side, unlike the one that just lost against Wolverhampton, so right now they are in a weak spot. If they come out strong, this could very easily be a 3-0 City win. We still cash that bet for sure, because Crystal Palace so far, looking at their attack, is not very strong. And like I just showed you, averaging a little bit over a goal per game at home isn't the strongest the strongest number in the world for them. So really like this under 3.5. Like I said, minus 125. We're going to be playing it at 0.63 units to win a half unit at 7.4% edge. Like I said, I think we can take advantage of the quality and defense here, because looking at Crystal Palace here, 98 defense rating, which is 2% better than average, and then City's 61% or 61 overall defense rating, that would be 39% better than average. And Crystal Palace, we're going to take advantage of their weak attack here, 20% worse than average. Wilfred Zaha has not been off to the best start. Their attackers in general have not been all that quality, and we actually got a nice little lean win on Jordan Ayew to score in the last match versus West Ham, which that barely went over. So hopefully in this case here, this one stays under that total. It also, just a quick side note too, total projected goals is 3.08, and we have the under 3.5. So still some edge there as well.
Yeah, great breakdown on that game, Riley. Well, nicely done as usual. And just to recap the plays, we're going to go with West Ham. Now, these are 2 official plays, and before I do the recap, Riley, what do we got going? If you guys remember, how many plays? It looked like a really big card when I took a glance at it. 6
total plays for the card. We have a goal scorer. We have 2 totals. And I believe we have 4 Asian handicaps.
So we're coming off the international break with a bang. I'm excited. I missed it so much. I love this league. I love how it's produced on NBC Sports. And I love it that you handicap it so well. And gosh, it's super exciting for me to watch these games and watch you. And really, it's exciting for me to watch you handicap it too, because you do a hell of a job with the breakdown. So recapping the official plays, West Ham plus a half goal, minus 103, and we're going to risk 0.52 units on that. And then Manchester City and Palace under 3.5 minus 125. We're going to risk 0.63 units on that. And then Yarmolenko to score, both teams to score, and West Ham to win. That's the 3-headed parlay. We get that. It's going to pay you 14-1. Riley, I like the card. Great job. And I'm so happy that you're in one piece. I really am. I'm because, man, that was scary when I saw you. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so made it out of the international break alive there. So that's
okay. So guys, I hope all your bets cash. We're gonna have a lot this weekend. It's playoff baseball, it's NFL, and we're doing pretty good in both. And well, Mike's doing really good in the NFL, and playoff baseball has been great so far. So gosh, a lot of games for you. And you guys, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a winning weekend. Thanks for listening.